BUN is a fast JavaScript runtime. Its goal is to make the experience of building software faster, less frustrating, and most importantly, fun. Unlike Node.js and other runtimes such as Dino, which use the Google's V8 engine, BUN is built using Apple's WebKit engine, which powers Safari. But what makes BUN unique? Let's imagine for a moment that your boss has given you the following tasks for that super important project you're working on. How would you tackle them? To manage your Node packages, you would probably use npm, yarn, or the most recent one, pnpm. Or you could use BUN. To create a simple server, you could use something like Express, or if you prefer a more complex one, you could use Nest.js, or you could use BUN. You could use Lerna to manage your complex and large monorepositories. Test all your code using tools like Jest or Malka or BUN. To get your environment variables, use tools like .env or BUN. Okay, I get it, just use BUN. Now that your project is ready, you just have to bundle it for production using Webpack or Rollup or... You know what? Let's just use BUN for everything. Let's start by installing BUN by simply using curl to download and install from their URL. Now create a BUN project by running BUN init. We are going to create a server and a client in separate packages in the same root workspace. So let's go ahead and create a packages folder, and inside it create two more packages, the client and server packages. In the root package.json, remove all dependencies since each individual package should be self-contained and declare its own dependencies. And add a workspace property with the path of the packages. We can also delete the module and type since we won't be needing them. And finally, simply add a private to true so we don't accidentally publish the root package to npm. Let's build a simple server by going into the server directory and running BUN init to initialize a BUN project. Inside the index.ts file, create the server using bun.serve. It will need a port of your choosing and the fetch function, which receives the request variable each time a request is made. From the request, we can obtain the URL by creating a new URL object and passing the URL from the request. Now let's create two conditions, one for the root path, which will simply return a response saying, "Welcome to the BUN server," and another for the posts path, which will return a posts variable that we can define here at the top. The post variable will be a simple array of strings. If no path name matches, simply return a 404 message. Make sure we don't get any coarse errors by passing the allow origin in the header of each response. Finally, just add the log to check if the server is running. Now run npm run index.ts to start up the server, and let's check in the browser. If we go to the root path, we receive a message, and if we go to the posts path, we can see that it returns the posts we have created. To create our client, go to the client folder and run bunx create react app to create a simple React application. In the app.js, delete everything except the main div, and at the top, import the useEffect and useState. Create a post state and a useEffect to trigger once on component load. Inside, create a data fetching function that will fetch our posts from our server and set a new state with the incoming data. Don't forget to execute the data fetch, and inside the HTML, simply check if the posts exist, and if they do, map each post to a simple paragraph. Launch the application by running bun run start and go to the browser to see that we have successfully retrieved the posts from the server. Now, let's say we want to retrieve the posts from a database instead of a fixed variable. We can do this by importing it from BUN SQLite and creating a new database object. Next, create a table for the posts similar to what you would do in regular SQL. Then simply execute the query. Let's insert the posts atomically by creating a transaction. First, prepare the statement you want to turn into a transaction. In this case, it should be insert into the posts table the values of name. And now create a transaction that will receive the posts, and for each one, run the insert post statement. Now, by calling the insert posts with the values of each post, it will ensure that either all of the posts are saved to the database or none of them are. To return the values to the client, create a query to select all of the values from the posts table and execute it by calling all the items of the query. This will be an array of objects with the attribute name, which we will map to simply return an array with the post's names. Don't forget to pass it as a stringified version of the array. So going back to the client, we can see that we are receiving the posts the same way as we were before. Only this time, they are coming from an SQL database instead of a hard-coded variable. Let's ensure that our database is running properly by creating some unit tests. Create an index.test.ts file, and inside import before all, describe, test, and expect from the BUN test module. Import the database and create a null variable for it. Now, inside the before all function, we are going to initialize the database so that we can have a clean slate for every test. As the name suggests, this code is run every time before a test is made. Now, describe our contacts for the database and create 2 tests inside. One to expect the database to be created, and another to expect the posts to be inserted into the database. The first one is simple, so simply check if the database is different from null, and if so, we will know that we do have indeed a database. The second option is to simply copy the code from the server for creating, inserting, and querying the post, and expect it to be equal to the array of the respective post names. Run BUN test, and you should have your tests done in record time. Instead of running the client and the server from their respective paths, we can actually run everything from the root folder. To do this, go to the root package.json and insert 2 scripts. One to start the server, which will run the index.ts file of the server, and one to start the client, which will first change the directory to the client and then run the start command. Now we can start both the server and the client by simply typing bun start server and bun start client respectively. Bear in mind that BUN is still very recent. It can still have a lot of compatibility issues. And just like any other fresh out of the oven technology, no pun intended, it still needs time to develop tools that can harness its full capabilities. But try it for yourself. I'll definitely be using it more in my projects to check if it is really worth it in the long run or not. Anyways, I hope you guys liked it. Hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers!